So let's dive into it. FanDuel is a proud sponsor of UCSS, guys. The NFL playoffs are here. FanDuel is officially in playoff mode every game day during the NFL playoffs. FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users are getting a profit boost pack waiting on them inside the app. It's just like any other game day. You make your picks and then apply the profit boost to get even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. Just visit FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. All right, guys, we have some head coaching news, rumblings, and predictions to get into. ESPN wrote an article yesterday. Dan Graziano from ESPN predicted the 9 head coach openings. Now, this was before the John Harbaugh news.
He was already wrong.
Mentioned in a second. He was wrong because in Dan Graziano's predictions, he had a prediction of John Harbaugh landing in Atlanta. These are the other 8, and he had Jeff Hafley to the Giants, but I didn't put Jeff Hafley on this list because the Giants have now hired John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Arizona, he had Clint Kubiak. Baltimore, he had Kevin Stefanski. Cleveland, he had Mike McDaniel coming from Miami to the Browns to be their next head coach. Moving on, in Vegas, he had Robert Saleh. Miami hiring Chris Shula. Pittsburgh hiring Jesse Minter. Tennessee hiring Matt Nagy, who was the former Chiefs offensive coordinator. And once again, I mentioned he had the Giants in this prediction hiring Jeff Hafley. But as we found out this morning, John Harbaugh is officially heading to New York to be the new head coach of the Giants. So 2-part question, Bull. We'll start with you. We can go around the horn and discuss this in more length. A, now that Harbaugh's off the board, how quickly do you expect the other dominoes to fall? And then B, Mike McDaniel as the prediction, are you feeling like that's starting to get a little more traction?
No, I don't know. I don't think we have any idea what's really getting traction because we're not in that room. He is just his predictions. He might as well have thrown a dart at the dartboard. I mean, he's just guessing. Frankly, no offense to Dan Graziano, that's a terrible guess. The Giants clearly had a relationship with Harbaugh. Like, that seemed pretty obvious that he was going there.
I mean, yes.
So I don't understand how can I trust any of his predictions when he had John Harbaugh going to Atlanta? That's weird. To answer your first question, yes, everything was on hold until Harbaugh made his decision, guys. Everything was on hold.
Yeah.
Because until Harbaugh made his pick of where he was going, every other team was going to wait outside of the Ravens to see what Harbaugh chose. Because, let's say the Falcons like Kevin Stefanski.
He was everybody's first choice.
Right, he was everybody's first choice. So until your first choice makes a decision, you're going to wait.
Right.
And if you're Kevin Stefanski, well, maybe you got an offer from Tennessee, but you're like, well, I want to wait and see if I'd rather go to the Giants, right? Maybe go to the Falcons. Let me wait and see, what John Harbaugh does. So now that Harbaugh has signed, or I don't think it's official yet, but once now that he appears to be going to the Giants, also takes Todd Monken off the board apparently.
Yeah.
Because he's apparently going with Harbaugh.
Monken is following Harbaugh. That has been confirmed.
Yeah. Because nobody was going to hire him to be a head coach. I would expect in the next. It wouldn't even stun me if by next Friday, 6 or 7 even of the rest of the jobs are gone.
I don't think it'll be that many. Well, how many are open?
8.
8 now.
There are currently 8 still
open. Does that
open.
count the Giants?
No,
8 not including the Giants.
I believe
still open.
I believe by this time next week, 5 of the 8 will be refilled. I feel like Hafley going to the Dolphins. I feel like that's going to happen. For some odd reason, I'm with Dustin. I'm starting to feel like Kevin is going to end up in the AFC North.
I don't see it.
I really could think. Well, I could see him going there. I could see him going to Baltimore. I could see that.
I mean, if I were Stefanski and I had my choice,
you would take
Baltimore's a no-brainer.
Oh, absolutely.
I think he's going to Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to.
Hey, you meet with them today?
I've had a couple people tell me Tennessee.
Yeah.
Now, again, they're guessing. Like everybody's guessing.
Yeah.
But their guesses are better than my guesses. But
I believe
I said yesterday I think he ends up in Tennessee or Miami. That was my guess.
No, I think Hafley going to Miami because they took the GM from the Packers to Miami. So I was like, that would make sense for Hafley to go there.
Yeah. But it's going to happen.
I see Pittsburgh interviewing Brian Flores?
Yes,
they are.
That would be a really good fit.
That's such a great fit for him.
He was already there.
Such a great fit. Oh man,
if I'm Brian Flores, I'm like, even though the Steelers at the moment is not as good a job as it would normally be because of their quarterback situation, and most of their key players are old. But it's still the Steelers. It's a great. You get that job, you're not getting fired quick. Like you're going to get a chance to. And Rudy's not stupid. He knows that they got to turn this team. Like there's a lot of work that needs to be done with this team.
Is Kevin the next best available head coach?
Depends on what you're looking for.
I know how you feel about it, but I'm just saying the general census.
I think the general census would be yes, but it depends. The different. I agree with what Andrew Berry said. Different teams are looking for different things.
Yeah.
And some people may not want Kevin because some of the problems they had here. And I thought Steve Bisciotti's answer was great. It felt like he was describing Kevin, but he was also talking about Robert Saleh. Yeah. When he was talking about, like, we're not going to be scared off if there's a coach who's been somewhere before. Yeah. He's got a losing record. We don't care about that.
Right. So which is smart. I mean,
it is smart.
You got to do your own, you can't. That's part of the big picture of what. Obviously, you're going to consider that, at least in part.
Sure.
But you shouldn't write a guy off.
Yeah.
The Mike McDaniel thing, like, if they got Mike McDaniel.
I don't understand. Mike McDaniel feels like, I know he's got a little bit of a different personality than Kevin Stefanski,
a lot different.
Well, yeah. Okay, a lot of different.
Publicly, at least.
He's young.
They're the same, like, they're both mild-mannered. Like, they're not. Joe Thomas said.
But most of them are today. Most of the coaches are in that
guess.
cloth. There's not that many, like Flores is the exception.
Yes,
he's not the norm.
Hafley, I think, is more in the Flores vein.
Yeah, he's a.
In terms of like.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Like he's going to be more leader of men type. No.
Oh, he's a great leader. Yeah. I think Robert Saleh's more.
Saleh
is more.
It's like defensive guys are more.
We had Joe Thomas here yesterday, and while he spoke highly of Mike McDaniel, liked him, good coach, he's like, I'm not sure he's a leader of men.
Yeah.
And he's like, the Browns need that type of coach.
I just like Mike McDaniel. Like he's one of those guys that's like, he comes off as I'm your friend.
Yeah.
Like you want the dude that come in and like, this is what we doing. This is my way or the highway. You can get out of here like that. I feel like they need that.
That's exactly why. Although, listen, I have killed Kevin Stefanski a lot in the last year, but for most of his tenure, I thought Kevin Stefanski was a fine coach. I didn't think he was great, but I thought he was fine. And if he goes to a situation that's good, if Kevin Stefanski ends up in Baltimore, I know there's a lot of people like, oh, he's going to ruin Lamar Jackson. No, he's not. No, he's not. If he goes to Baltimore, he's going to do fine. I'm not saying he's going to win a Super Bowl, but he's going to do, he'll do well. If he goes to another crappy situation like this, he's not going to do well.
So
because
Tennessee?
Like most coaches, it depends on your talent. There's only a few that make a marked difference.
Does Tennessee have a lot of cap room?
They must.
Yeah,
they can make a lot of
moves. Who are they
for
paying?
Agency.
I mean, they're not paying anybody.
They got rid of everybody.
They got one defensive lineman.
Harold Land. Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the only person they're paying. I can't think of who else they're paying right now.
The quarterback determines a lot of these jobs in terms of how attractive they are.
Well, that's the thing. To your point, like Harbaugh, I understand. The Giants have been a bad organization recently, but overall they're more highly thought of than Tennessee.
For sure.
But ultimately, if John Harbaugh thought Cam Ward was significantly better than Jackson Dart, he probably would have taken Tennessee.
He'd at least taken the interview.
Yes. So he must think Dart's at least good enough.
Yeah.
And he likes the organization.
Remember what you're saying.
That's why Kevin got fired.
No, because we got topics coming. Remember what you're saying about Dart, because I just find the whole thing fascinating in terms of quarterbacks and all that.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you.
We got a topic coming. You read the rundown?
I always read the rundown.
My point, listen, the original point I was making about Stefanski. So I'm not, unlike a lot of people, I don't think Stefanski's a terrible coach. I think that's ridiculous. I think he's like most of the coaches in the NFL, somewhere in the middle. So the reason I ultimately wanted him gone is because I think there's been too much losing. We've talked about the stuff like behind the scenes, not standing up for himself. But I feel like they need like a kick-ass guy right now. To hire Mike McDaniel,
you'd be literally.
Don't see it.
If you hire Mike McDaniel, I think that would come with the Jim Schwartz got to stay the defensive coordinator type thing. I just feel like if they do that, then it's like we're trying to really fix the offense, and we want an offensive-minded guy that can come in and change things offensively. But I feel like they run. He's similar to what Kevin used to run. I don't know what this new stuff is that they've been running for the past 2 years. Ever since the AVP got fired thing and they switched to the shot, I don't know what that is. That is not the Kevin Stefanski system that worked. I don't know why. I know why they changed it. They should have never did that, but that's what ultimately led to this offense looking as bad as it does.
Plus the talent.
Plus the talent. Plus the talent as well.
But the lack of.
I just feel like with Mike McDaniel, it's going to be a lot of the. Which, I mean, they were successful here when they did do that, but according to Mike, he wanted the quarterback to throw to a spot, and that's just not Deshaun or Shador.
Another thing about McDaniel is, I like in theory the idea of a second-time head coach, but I like that better when that coach has had a chance to sit for a year and say, what did I do wrong? That's part of the reason I like Flores, besides the fact that he's an ass kicker, is that he's had a couple of years to sit back and say, okay, here's what the mistakes that I made. Now I'm ready to go for my second job, and I'm going to learn from those mistakes. I feel like that's harder to do if you get fired and then hired 2 weeks later.
I feel like for Mike McDaniel, the best thing that can happen to him is he takes the OC job for the Lions.
That would be good. Right. And then next year he gets hired again.
Because you'll have the talent. You'll show that, I can do all these things with this great offense, but you're under Dan Campbell. So you'll see how Dan Campbell's running things, and you'll take a little bit of it. So now you got Kyle Shanahan and how he ran things, and then you can mix that with Dan Campbell, how he run things.
Exactly.
Mix it up, and now you create your own culture. And I think that would be great for his career.
I think you're right. I think you're right on with that. I agree.
I was asking somebody the other day who he thought someone in the NFL who he thought the Browns were going to hire, and the response was, "Who do I think they should hire, or who do I think they're going to hire?"
So what was it? Did you ask him for both?
Yeah, who he thought they should hire was Shieldhouse.
Really?
From the Rams.
He's so young. He's not.
He's 35 and has a lot more experience.
Yeah, it's not like Urdinsky.
Is that the dude from Iowa State?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's been okay. And Shieldhouse he should hire.
And who they will hire?
Jim Schwartz.
McDaniel.
Oh.
And I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know that McDaniel and Jim Schwartz would be a happy marriage. We'll see.
Feels like an odd couple in terms.
We'll
of
see.
Yeah, I mean, if you're honestly, if I'm Jim Schwartz and they hire Mike McDaniel, I want to go. I want to get out of here. I don't want to stick around.
I'm curious to see. For 6 years, there was none of the stuff that we're used to hearing with the Browns about power struggles and all. There was none of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's wait and see.
Yeah, all right, Shieldhouse. We haven't discussed him much at all.
Well, he's still coaching, so they haven't really had a chance to request an interview.
Right, interesting.
We will, because the Browns have reportedly been interested in bringing him in for an interview, but until he actually can be interviewed, it's not worth it.
The same guy who told me that is the guy who told me they will look at Grant Udinski, because I told you last week Udinski was on the list. And then he came in. But
he likes Shieldhouse has been coaching longer than Udinski.
Yeah.
And he's the Rams passing game coordinator, correct?
Rams passing game coordinator, was the OC at Iowa State and called plays at Iowa State for 2 years, was at Iowa State during the whole Brock Purdy era, was a 4-star quarterback coming out of high school when he was playing.
Yeah.
Had a relatively innocuous
I think I butchered his name
what
on
is
Monday.
What is his ethnicity?
I don't know.
You gonna ask me that on the fly?
I don't know. Who the hell knows?
Well, I butchered his name on Mike. Really butchered his name.
I double butchered.
And then I tried correcting him, and I butchered it. So Ken called me, mocking me, that I totally butchered the guy's name.
I mean,
I'm like,
Ken's never screwed up a name before.
I'm a writer, man. I'm a writer.
Yeah.
I just so I spell it right.
Just listen to. Have you heard the clip of?
But it is Shieldhouse.
Of Mike Francesa and Mad Dog Russo trying to pronounce Jackson Smith and Jigba?
It's incredible.
Go find that audio.
It is incredible.